Hey, what's up everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to the conversation. So today I'm going to be talking about this whole Clippers-Lakers rivalry in a pretty interesting way. And I told you guys before I was going to be coming up with a reason why I think the Clippers have a decisive advantage over the Lakers. So the question is, we're going to be talking about this secret weapon that the Clippers have to handle Anthony Davis if they were to meet in the playoffs that would guarantee them beating the Lakers in the playoffs. So that's what I want to get into this video today. So all of you guys are fully aware of the whole battle between, the Battle of LA, supposedly the two of the three best teams in all of basketball with the Lakers, Clippers, and Milwaukee Bucks. But the theme has been, who's gonna be in control of LA at the end of the season. Not that necessarily one of those teams is gonna win the championship, but who's gonna be the team to knock off the other team and go to the finals. That's been the whole theme. And we've had two different camps. In one camp, you have people like Shannon Sharpe, Nick Wright, and others who are, and Stephen A. Smith, who are pro-Lakers. You have others like Skip Bayless, Chris Broussard, and others who are pro-Clippers who believe that the Clippers have a better team, whereas the other batch of people seem to think that the Lakers have more talent because they believe they have two of the top 5 players in basketball in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Other people believe that the Clippers have the better duo in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And this has been sort of the back and forth seesaw that we've been going through this entire season versus Clippers versus Lakers fans. And to be quite honest with you, us doing these videos, I'm actually pretty surprised because I didn't know that there were so many Clippers fans out there, so many Clippers supporters, and a lot of our content, Clippers fans are watching these videos. Either you like Paul George, or you're a Clipper fan, or you're a Kawhi Leonard fan, or you're anti-Lakers. These are usually the people that watch our videos, and they've been giving us a lot of ideas and a lot of inspiration to come up with this content. So I appreciate you guys for that, and keep leaving your comments in the comment section because it gives us a lot of insight and ideas to create great content for you guys that hopefully you will continue to enjoy. But let's talk about this matchup, okay? What is this secret weapon that we're talking about? You all remember the big hype for opening night of the new 2019-2020 season, and I think it was on TNT or ABC, one of these stations that carried the game between the Lakers and the Clippers. And it was all of this hype, all this hoopla. Everybody was making the predictions. Stephen A. Smith said LeBron and these boys are going to put his hammer down, and Kawhi Leonard released the commercial with the New Balance with the ring on his on the keychain, saying that, not the ring, the crown on the keychain, saying that he's the new king, and implying that it's Kawhi Town and all of these different things. And going into that game, we were all hyped. Okay, we were all hyped. I was hyped, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And Paul George actually was not available for that game because of an injury a shoulder injury. Knowing that Paul George wasn't going to be available, I was a bit cautious with making any kind of bold statements and saying, okay, and outright saying that the Clippers are going to win the game. I was more tentative, and I was just watching to see what happened. So when Kawhi Leonard and these boys were able to come away with that win, and he was the leading scorer in the game with 30 points, and they beat the Lakers on opening night without Paul George, I think, it was a real statement game, right? It was a real statement game, and a lot of people were criticizing LeBron for saying, for sort of downplaying the whole rivalry, saying it's not a rivalry. He doesn't understand what a lot of people are talking about. He doesn't see the rivalry and all of these different things. And people came at him like, dude, what are you talking about? You got people, it's like you're living in a house, you got people in the basement, and every time you go to bed, these people are coming up and going into your fridge and eating all your food. And you talking about you don't have nobody living with you. Like, what are you talking about? A lot of people came at LeBron for that because he seemed like he didn't want to acknowledge the Clippers as being a real rival, although he wanted to recruit Kawhi Leonard. So there was that whole thing going on. So a lot of people after that first game, especially if you listen to people like Shannon Sharpe, analysts like Shannon Sharpe, he said, you know what, man, it was an opening night. The Lakers are definitely going to get them when they play again in Christmas. And what happened in Christmas? This time, Paul George was available. I think he chipped in about 18 points or so that game. And Kawhi Leonard went off for 35 points. And you all remember the controversial with some people, the last call in the replay that had that we saw Patrick Beverley swipe the ball out of LeBron's hands, which ultimately went off of LeBron's fingertips, causing them to lose that possession. And the Clippers ended up winning that game, going away at the end of the game, going wire to wire. So the Clippers ended up taking those first 2 games. And at that point, a lot of Lakers apologists were still holding out on the idea that the Clippers are still in big trouble because of their interior defense or lack thereof, because they don't have a lot of size. And they speak to the fact that the Lakers have so much size, and Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, LeBron James, Dwight Howard. These are all players between a height of 6'8", 6'7" to like 7 foot, 7'1". I mean, the Lakers have a lot of size. And when they play against the Clippers, you see the size. These guys are really, really big players, and they have a lot of length, and they can really affect a lot of things, especially a lot of shots going to the paint. It can defer a lot of players from driving because they have so much good rim protection, even on their second unit with Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. So they have all of these shot blockers all over the court. LeBron is a very lengthy player. He has a lot of size. Even if you look at their point guard position, if you look at Rajon Rondo, he has a very long wingspan, so he can play great defense. You have other defenders like Avery Bradley and others who can really pose a lot of threats and create a lot of havoc on the defensive end of the ball when the Lakers go against other teams. But what happened in those two meetings? Something quite interesting happened. If we look at the stats of Anthony Davis this season, Anthony Davis is averaging 26.6 points a game, getting you 9.2 rebounds, 3.3 assists. He is playing about 35 minutes a game. He's shooting 52% from the floor. He's shooting 30% from the three-point line, 85% from the free throw line, and he's getting you 2.4 blocks and 1.4 steals. So Anthony Davis is putting up stellar numbers as usual, all world numbers. But there's something that I haven't heard anyone speak to, which is Anthony Davis in those two games that they've played has only scored 4 points in the fourth quarter in the two games. Now, some of you who hear this number may say, well, it's because LeBron James is leading the league in attempts in the fourth quarter. I don't really think so. Because if Anthony Davis, who is a power forward / center, 6'10", 253 pounds, playing your power forward or your center, one would think that he would be able to dominate the Clippers in the paint. Talking about Montrezl Harrell, Zubac. One, because probably he's too big and too heavy for Montrezl Harrell. Two, because maybe he's too quick and nimble and he can beat Zubac as well. But what has happened is Anthony Davis has been shut out in these four quarters, and I think the secret weapon that the Clippers have to neutralize Anthony Davis is physicality. Okay? Physicality is the way you eliminate and take Anthony Davis out of a game. Why do I say that? Anthony Davis is 6'10". Giannis Antetokounmpo is about 6'10", 6'11". I would bet my money that Anthony Davis is a little bit heavier than Giannis Antetokounmpo. The only difference between these two players is that Giannis plays with force, whereas Anthony Davis is a finesse big. And if you rough him up, if you push him around, if you put your elbow into him, if you're physical with him, it takes him out of his comfort zone. And he has said on numerous occasions that the one position he loathes playing is the center position. Why? The reason that he doesn't enjoy to play the center position is because of all of the banging that takes place in the paint. You have to bang with these big boys. People are throwing their weight into you. You're going up for rebounds. People are blocking you out. Elbows are flying all over the place. So for you to play in the paint, you have to play big. Whereas Anthony Davis plays like a small forward, power forward. He takes a lot of, if you watch the All-Star game, you saw him shooting threes and all these different things. So he doesn't really want to go in there and bang. He's really good at the pick and roll, pick and pop, hitting the open jump shot, maybe from the 15-foot jumpers. He has great post moves, great footwork and all of these stuff, but he generally doesn't like to operate in the post as much as one would assume for someone with his skill set, size, and weight. And people like Montrezl Harrell and others who are very physical and gritty can take Anthony Davis out of a game because of their physicality. The only way AD can take advantage of the Clippers in the low post is if he becomes more aggressive mentally. Now what you're doing is you're hoping to see something from a player that you haven't seen before, and one is hoping that maybe LeBron James will be the one to bring that out of him, because Anthony Davis doesn't play bully ball. He doesn't, same thing with Joel Embiid, but Giannis Antetokounmpo does. If Anthony Davis had Giannis's mentality, then you got me. Then the lack of interior defense that the Clippers have becomes a glaring issue. But in the 2 games that they've played against each other, Anthony Davis has only scored 4 points in those fourth quarters, which is astonishing because one would think that with all of his size, he'd be able to dominate them, but he doesn't. And what I believe is, if these 2 teams were to meet in the playoffs, I think the Clippers are going to rough him up. If you guys don't believe what I'm saying, go back and look at the highlights of the Clippers game on Christmas versus the Lakers. And at one point, you will see Paul George, who is 6'8", playing defense on Anthony Davis in the post. And he was able to bother him, not neutralize him, but he was able to bother him because he was physical with him. He was playing him with force. If you play Anthony Davis that way, you can neutralize him. And that's why you watch people like Charles Barkley and others who say, for the Lakers to win, Anthony Davis has to go off. And I'm putting my money that he's not going to be averaging 40 points a game in the series between the Clippers and the Lakers, because the Clippers are just too physical of a team. And that is the reason why they're number 3 in the league in rebounding without a lot of size, because rebounding is an effort stat. It has a lot to do with your mentality. And if you look at them, that's the reason they rebound the ball so well. So if I had to put my money on it, I think physicality is the secret weapon that the Clippers have to neutralizing Anthony Davis. But what I want to know from you guys is, do you agree with what I said? Do you agree with me? Or do you think I'm smoking something and I have it all wrong? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when all of our newest and hottest content comes out. Once again, this is Charles here from DreamersPro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace!